Hiko is a popular high school girl. In contrast, Izumi is a gloomy guy, and his classmates think he's an otaku. While doing her usual house chores, Hiko finds Sota, her younger brother, with a nosebleed from falling. Only then does she notice the guy with Sota, who looks like a bad boy with his piercings. She serves him tea to show gratitude, and they discuss the incident. He then expresses his surprise that Kyoko does house chores, lead into the discovery that he is her classmate Zumi. Of course, his Stark school outside appearance difference shocks her. The next day at school, Coco invites Izumi to come over again for Sota. He agrees and admits he thinks she'll avoid, and which she denies. Albeck, shocked, she confesses that they are just the same, who are different outside school, making him blush. After seeing him smile, she suggests tying his hair and taking off his glasses, but he declines because of his piercings. Azuri starts visiting them regularly, and Kyoko learns about him. He's not a Matako, has a family bakery. His piercings were self-done, and he's not good in academics. Noticing her reading a magazine, he leans in and she notices his long lower eyelashes. Then they discuss the egg sale on it, and she expresses her plan to attend. Unfortunately, a sudden meeting is announced, so Coco asks him to attend for her. Rashi Nazumi removes his glasses and jumps a fence, accidentally encountering Yuki. He apologizes for eggs and runs off, leaving her confused. Back at Kyoko's home, he shares that Yuki saw him. Embarrassed, she expresses not wanting others to see his other side. Izumi agrees, saying he also wants to be the only one who sees Kuko's hidden side, making her shove his cold drink into his face. While cooking, Izumi complains about his tattoos during school and classes and shows them to Kuko, shocking her at school. Yuki and Toru discuss Izumi and Kyoko's closeness. Toru questions Izumi if he's dating Kyoko, to which he denies. Toru admits his plans to confess to Kyoko. Later in the changing room, Toru questions why he wears winter clothes during summer. Unable to think of an excuse, he unzips and shows his tattoos and piercings. Then they head up to the roof, and Tori shares his intention to confess his feelings to Kyoko. Meanwhile, Yuki gets angry with Toru for skipping pee and leaving all the work to her. On their way home, Kyoko notices Izumi's distant behavior. Toru asks Kyoko out after school, but she initially declines. However, Izumi offers to pick up Sota after school. Toru confesses to Kyoko. At her house, Sota asks about Koko's return, while Izumi worries about her and Toru dating. When Koko returns, she confronts Izumi, upset because Toru told her. Izumi said they didn't fit together. Izumi explains he's gloomy and will damage her reputation. She gets angry, saying she doesn't care about it. Shigekuwa declares he needs him to wake her up, and that they'll end up with excess leftovers. Afterward, they discuss Toru, and Kyoko reveals she rejected him. Kyoko and Izumi walk home after shopping, and they discuss her song preference, which she realizes she doesn't know. At home, Kyoko is surprised by her mother's return, and they talk about Izumi. Iriko asks for his full name, making her realize she doesn't know his first name. School. Kyoko tries to find out Izumi's first name without asking directly, but fails. Back home, feeling down about not knowing his name, her mom asks if he will visit on Saturday. She thinks it's her chance to learn his full name. When they meet that weekend, Izumi arrives at Koko's house and is welcomed by her mother, Yuriko, and brother Sota. Since Koko is out shopping, after chatting for some time, Yuriko leaves for work. When Kyoko returns, her mom has left, and she realizes her mother wants to have a private talk with Izumi. Kakihiru and Sakura thank Kyoko for finishing a task, but then ask her to take on another, since the student council is busy, to which she agrees. Yuki notices Kyoko looking tired and asks why she doesn't refuse, but Kyoko insists on helping. Remy arrives to collect files from Kyoko, and they discuss Remy's lack of contribution to the workload, leaving Kyoko most of it. Azumi considers bringing her a cake to cheer her up, when Remy accidentally bumps into him, causing the files to spill. Frustrated, she rushes off after picking it up Izumi picks a file and tries giving it to her, but she orders him to just toss it. The next day in the hallway, Izumi finds the crowd gathering in front of their classroom. From Toru he learns that Keiji confronts Kori about the missing budget report. Despite his and Yuki's intention to help, they cannot. Keiji urges Kyoko to apologize for it. Meanwhile, Izumi pushes through the crowd and asks Toru to hold his glasses. He pulls Keiji and gives him a headbutt. After that, he gives him the file and tells how Remy orders him to just discard it. Keiji and Sakura look at Remy scarily, and she begins to cry and apologize. After resolving the issue, Hugo feels relieved. Tora questions why he had to hit Kakiro in the head, and Azumi responds that he did it out of frustration. Azumi asks why she follows Kakiro's orders so diligently, convincing them that Kakiro has something on her. Due to her reaction, the truth is, Kyoko used to boss him around when they were kids. Traumatized by the incident, Kekir became afraid of Izumi. While playing table tennis, Tor informs Izumi about Kyoko's birthday, so he ponders what to give to her. On the other hand, Soto wants to know if Izumi will keep on coming to their house. He managed to make his sister Coco admit that she would be sad without him. Coco's birthday came and Soto gave her a drawing, while Izumi gave her a CD with recent songs he personally picked. Coco wonders why he knows what she wants. Back in middle school, Izumi is always left out when the teachers ask the class to pair up or group themselves, since his classmates think that he is weird and gloomy. Out of frustration, he pierces his ears using a safety pin. His situation is no different when he starts high school. However, Coco approaches and considers him normal. Back at school, they learn that they are classmates again. Feeling lucky that he and Azumi are together, Torres says it's the power of love, making the other girls speculate that they are dating. While they chat, Izumi thinks that he doesn't belong to the group. However, when they are asked by the teacher to form a group, they immediately gather around him. At the rooftop, he wonders if they are fine being friends with him, and then Toru enters. Deep in his thoughts, he fails to listen to what Tor discusses, dismaying him. Then, Azumi asks what he thinks of him with a straight face, and Tor finds it creepy. He also stray out, answers that he's annoying, and it irritates him since he's close with Kyoko. Additionally, he only calls him by his surname, so Azumi tries calling him Toru and gets embarrassed. Finally, Toru calls him weird but assures him that it's fine. Back in their classroom, Kyoko flicks their forehead to ditch the report. The next day, Izumi calls Toru by his surname, confusing him that they're still not on a first-name basis. While drinking in the cafeteria, Remy approaches Kyoko and asks if she can date Izumi. Pissed off, Kyoko declares that Izumi is hers. The past few days, Soba has been playing outside, leaving Izumi and Kyoko alone together. They watched horror movies together, scaring Izumi so that he jumps from her. Cell phone rings, and then the lights went out, scaring him more. But it came back right after. She also informs him that there's more to watch. As Kyoko closes the CD case, Izumi notes that she really has a double joint on her fingers. They place their hands together to compare, and she notices that he has bigger hands, contrary to her expectations. Then their hands interlock and Coco confesses, "I like you," but she retracts it, saying she likes his hand instead. Izumi also admits that he loves her hand. The next day, Torv overhears Remy talking to Sakura about Kyoko's declaration of having Izumi and herself. She says that she's just joking, but she got mad. After that, Izumi enters the classroom with the bruised face. Yuki and Kyoko learn that he fought with Tora rather than jealousy. The fight begins because Toru insists that Kuko likes Izumi pushing his buttons, though Toru threw the punch first. He's beaten up by Izumi and claims it as self-defense. Kyoko and Yuki then discuss the two and share that they're both covering for each other. On the other hand, Yuki learns from Izumi that Kyoko is the reason for their fight and decides to comply with his request to keep it a secret. Toru helps Sakura gather scattered files and compliments her for being cool and diligent. Meanwhile, Kyoko offers ice cream to Azumi while he waits for Toru. Despite feeling happy, Toru declines as he dislikes melon flavor. Instead, they block Kakehiru and give it to him. As they all show their colored tongues from the ice cream, they notice Toru has the longest tongue. Toru asks about Sakura, learning she's a nerd-looking girl. Their conversation turns to the student council, being mostly girls, jokingly referred to as Kakura's harem, which he denies. In jest, Kakuru invites them to the council's room. The following day, Azumi and his friends crash in the council room. When Azumi and Kyoko leave to buy drinks, Remy questions if they're dating and suggests Toru is a better match for Kyoko. Yuki disagrees and reveals Toru's recent rejection. Sakura discovers Toru's feelings for Kyoko. Toru gets triggered by Sakura's comment, while Azumi and Kyoko are buying drinks. When they return, Izumi's apology exacerbates Toru's overthinking. Without hearing the details, Toru opens his cola and it splashes on his face, which is the reason behind Izumi's apology. Sakura offers a tissue to help clean up. While doing their homework, curious Hugo requests to see Izumi's tattoos, and he immediately starts stripping, but she stops him. Meanwhile, Izumi seems to not understand the problem, so she admits that she's curious to know what flusters him. Izumi tells her that he gets flustered when he runs into his middle school friend Koichi, who mistakenly believes that Kyoko is his girlfriend. However, she reassures him that she doesn't mind if others think they're dating. Kabushi sends a text and Izumi hides it from Kyoko, ending the call abruptly. When he receives a phone call, she suggests treating Toru the same, but he rejects as they aren't close enough. While walking with Izumi, Toru spots Kyoko and assumes that the guy's hitting on her. Izumi runs to punch him and introduces Kuchi to Kiku. Contradictorily, when Tori asks, he denies knowing him. Kuchi teases Izumi for enjoying his time with his girlfriend, so Izumi tries to silence him. Kyoko then suggested talking somewhere else, so they went to a restaurant. Despite his bad memories during middle school, Izumi became friends with Koichi. After helping him one time, he also overhears Koichi ignoring his friend's warnings about being friends with him. The next day, Coco falls sick with a fever, but Soto insists she should rest. While resting, memories of her childhood sickness resurface. She wakes up to Izumi caring for her after Soto calls him. When Izumi prepares to leave for water, Coco's anxiety causes her to fall, asking repeatedly where he's going. He reassures her he won't leave unless she tells him to. After she calms down, he tells her that he already informed the school and their friends. He confesses his feelings and then leaves. Meanwhile, it shocks Kyoko that even her fever went down. She wonders if he knows that she's awake. Not knowing how to face Izumi, Kyoko fakes being sick and skips school. Meanwhile, Soto witnesses Izumi walking with another girl. When he's home, he tells her sister about this, and she assumes he's two-timing. After hearing that the girl's clinging on Izumi's arm, Coco tried denying the thought. The next day, Coco avoids Izumi at school. Toru informs Izumi about Coco's behavior and asks if they fought, but he denies it. Later, Izumi confronts Coco, admitting he confessed because he knows she's awake. Kyoko questions him about Chika, Kabushi's girlfriend, but she gets angry when tries to explain, throwing books at him, as he keeps on calling Chika by her first name. After realizing her mistake, Kyoko worries that Izumi dislikes her, but Sota announces Izumi's arrival. Kyoko tries pretending to be absent, but Izumi's already inside to return her book. They both apologize, clearing the air about the book-throwing incident. He admits it's his fault, and that he doesn't know Chika's surname, fixing a misunderstanding. Their conversation shifts his confession, and expresses his fear of hearing her response. Before Kyoko can reply, Kusuke, a man with long gray hair, arrives and questions Izumi's identity. Kyoko refers to him as Kusuke, as he bombards Izumi with questions. Kyoko kicks his head and asks him to stop. Then, Izumi's assumption that he's her dad gets confirmed. While Kyoko is in the kitchen, Kiyosu teases Izumi and bluntly asks if they're dating. Both Izumi and Kyoko are flustered, but Kyoko blurs out that they are hitting her father with a bowl. Kiesuke jokingly mentions not liking long hair guys, to which Izumi offers to cut his hair. However, Kiesuke suggests tying it up instead. Yuriko drops the groceries when she sees Kisuke. She worries about having enough food with Kisuke around, but includes Izumi and their dinner plans. Walking him home, Kiku holds Izumi's hand. Noticing it, he interlocks their fingers and declares he wants to know more about Kiku, which she also desires. Before going back, he thanks her and they both blush. Izumi sits in frustration because he finds it hard to bid farewell. Toro receives the news from Izumi, and he responds that he's happy for him. However, after the call, tears form in his eyes. The next day at school, Sakura notices Tori's feeling down. Remy catches her watching him, but she stops her and insists on hurrying to the council room instead. She asks what bothers her, but Sakura claims she won't understand as she's cute. Unlike her walking away, Sakura reminisces about their past, and she runs off to apologize to Remy. On their way home, Kyoko and Izumi meet Toru and Shu. Toru assures Izumi there's no need for awkwardness. Kyoko discovers Izumi's troubles with English while teaching him. When checking the time, she mentions they're waiting for Izumi Kumina, and he mistakenly thinks it's him, making her laugh. Kyoko playfully asks if he prefers being called by his first name, which he confirms. Blushing embarrassed, Kyoko calls him Baka Izumi, and he insists his name doesn't start with Baka. That night, Kusuke insists that he should stay for the night. Before going to bed, he asks what Izumi likes about her daughter, and he responds that it's because she doesn't judge people based on appearance. Not that long after, Kusuke is already asleep. That morning, going to school, two students witness Kyoko and Izumi leaving her house together, and the news spreads about them dating. Students gossip with disapproval, and the negative comments annoys Toru and Yuki, despite his friends assuring him his concern that it affects Kyoko, so he decides to change his appearance by cutting his hair and taking off his glasses. Coco's stunned when she first sees him, and then screams in shock. His new look quickly gained popularity, especially among the girls, who had previously criticized him. They now show interest and ask about his transformation, triggering Coco's jealousy. Shu, who's about to suggest another music CD, earns the best reaction reward. After exaggeratingly backing off, after seeing his new appearance, then a random girl captures Izumi's picture, and competitive Kiku takes more of it. Going to Kiku's house, Kesuke didn't recognize him right away. After learning he's Izumi, he asks if he got dumped, despite knowing it is his daughter that he's dating. Later they visit Koichi, who also screams after seeing Izumi's new appearance. He shares the candy that he won from a competition, but with Chika taking all of the normal flavored candies, they are left with unusual flavors. Seeing a cheese flavor, Izumi feeds it to Koichi, who accepts it despite not liking the flavor, as it is rare for Izumi to feed him. Meanwhile, Kyoko tries the clay one, and then expresses that it tastes bad. With Koichi looking away, Izumi steals the candy straight from Kyoko's mouth with a kiss. The following day, a girl keeps on following Kyoko and confirms his relationship with Izumi. After learning that it's true, if she follows Izumi and bluntly questions, when will he break up with Coco? To which he answers never. The girl Homoka reveals that she has a crush on Coco, and they start fighting for her. After school, Izumi and Homonoka coincidentally discover they are neighbors and end up spending time together in his apartment. During their conversation, she jokes about having a brother. Izumi later learns from his mother that Onoka's brother actually passed away a year ago. The next day, Onoka hides beside Izumi, who confronts some boys bothering her, unconsciously intimidating them with just a glare. While waiting for Coco, they continue bragging about their relationship with her. Later that evening, Coco, Izumi, and Kasuki gather to watch a horror movie together. Then Kasuki leaves to go to a convenience store. Amidst the movie marathon, curious why he doesn't make a move on her, Kyoko asks Izumi. He's about to kiss her, But their moment is interrupted by Kasuki's return to the room, angered Kyoko, who threatens to reenact the horror movie, where the daughter bashes the father with a chair. At the bookstore, Yuki decides to buy what she wants next time, but she couldn't find it. While taking out the bins with Yuri, Toru accidentally spills coffee on Sakura's shirt. He rushes back to class and returns with his sports jacket, lending it to Sakura to cover the stain. Later, Sakura visits the council room and asks Kakiro about what he likes about Remy. Surprised by her question, Kakiro still answers that Remy inspires him to be strong for her, while she reciprocates by protecting him, similar to how she protects Sakura. The next day, Sakura returns Toru's jacket and gives him cookies, which he happily accepts, especially enjoying the Sakura-flavored ones. The next day at the bookstore, Yuki spots what she's been searching for, but gives it up to someone else. Kuka notices Yuki's tendency to hold back and miss out on what she wants by not expressing herself openly. Later, Sakura thanks Yuri with cookies for her help, which Yuri initially declines but eventually accepts. Yuri ponders what to do with the cookies near the bins and decides to eat them. She then seeks Azumi's advice on baking a cake, and a week later, surprises Kyoko and Azumi with her poorly burnt cupcakes. Despite hiding it from him, Toru discovers the cupcakes and tries it. Despite its bad taste, he wants to try Yuri's next batch. The others also encourage Yuri to keep baking. After Azumi leaves for Hokkaido to visit relatives for 5 days, Kyoko anxiously waits for his return, counting down the days. Meanwhile, Azumi realizes he forgot his phone charger and struggles with a low battery during his trip. As the 5-day period passes, her impatience grows, especially when she sees news reports about airport restrictions. When Azumi finally returns home and recharges his phone, he reads the missed messages, including ones from Kyoko. Upon reading her messages, he rushes out of his apartment to find her. As soon as he steps out of the elevator, he hugs her, who also rushes to his home, and she admits feeling like the 5 days apart were a long time. Kyoko discusses Azumi's fear of horror movies with her friends, who criticize it as not cute. That night they watch a horror movie, and Kyoko plans to pretend to be scared, but her acting backfires and frightens Azumi more. He takes a break alone and returns to find Kyoko lying face down on her pillow, feeling insecure. Azumi assures her that he likes her just the way she is. Kyoko admits that she fell for Azumi for the same reason. She rests her head on his chest to listen to his heartbeat, and Azumi reciprocates by doing the same. The next day, Sota thinks Azumi will take his sister away, but Azumi assures him otherwise. He asks if he can have Coco instead, to which Sota agrees. Meanwhile, Coco smiles as she overhears their conversation. Later, Izumi shows Koichi a bite mark on his neck from Kuko, who thinks that it's a mark of possession. Izumi dreams of his past self and assures him that he will soon meet his own friends, and especially someone who will be his girlfriend. Eventually, after waking up, he forgets about his dream and wants to see Kyoko. Remy describes her man Kakiro as weak, but he tries to be strong for her, which she loves. Remy meets Kakiro after overhearing him claiming that she and Sakura are just the same. She starts borrowing books from him sooner. He invites her to their library, where she finds an old book about the world's end. He asks what she'd do if the world ends. Excitedly, she says she'd spend all her money eating everything she wants. The next day, Remy returns back the book, and they discuss the world's end and her desserts, making Kakira laugh. Seeing his classmates staring at them, he informs Remy that one of his friends has a crush on her. She just replies, "Oh," and then expresses that she wants to go to her library again, to which he agrees. He also clarifies that he doesn't want to misunderstand her. In the library, Remy asks Keiji what he would do if the world ended tomorrow. He claims he will confess to her and turns away, feigning nonchalance. Remy confirms that it's not a joke, and then grabs his shoulder, only to see him blushing. At first he denies that he's embarrassed, But then Remy, smiling, also confesses her feelings. The next day, he returns the book but denies crying over it, though Remy notices his puffy eyes. Despite this, she loves everything about him. When Izumi puts his foot on Kyoko's head, while she's painting his toenails, almost impulsively, she imagines that it will be hot if he yells at her. The next day, Izumi tries speaking like a thug but can't continue, so he proposes to just do it. When she forgets about it, alone in the AV room, Izumi tries it and pushes her head while talking aggressively, scaring the other students. Izumi surrenders, saying he really can't do it, but Kyoko looks satisfied. Meanwhile, Yuki struggles to reject someone who asked her out, and her friends suggest pretending to have a boyfriend. Kyoko recommends Toru, who agrees immediately. Toru confirms his role in the plan, and Yuki admits he's a little more attractive than Akane. Kyoko plans to watch, pretending she's worried, but curiosity's written on her face. On their way, Toru holds Yuki's hand. Akane arrives, stunning Toru, who admits he'd date him if asked. Kyoko also finds him prettier than Izumi. Proceeding with their plan, Yuki rejects him, while Toru pretends to be her boyfriend. He accepts it, saying Toru is indeed hotter than him, and then leaves. After that, Kyoko questions Yuki's decision about rejecting Iki. She explains she prefers someone less fancy. She later discovers he has bad eyesight through Remy. Yuki asks Iki if he mistook her for Kyoko, but he denies it, mentioning he's been observing her. When Toru, Kyoko, and Izumi meet them, Akane struggles to differentiate them due to his poor vision. Kyoko styles Izumi's hair, and the other girls find it cute. On the side, she's flaring because of them and smacks his mate. When they leave, she grabs his bag and carries it while walking. He asks if she's mad because of the girls. Internally, she wants to vent how they only notice him after cutting his hair, not even minding her presence. However, she denies it, pouting. Then they meet Izumi's middle school classmates, and they verbally bully him and drink cocoa. She beats them up, and later reasons that her mood is just bad. Later, Makio, one of the bullies, meets Koichi, and denies that his bruises are not from karate, but from meeting Izumi. Then he learns about Kyoko and calls her his summon. Despite his attitude towards Izumi, Koichi knows Macho always thinks of him. Seeing her bruised hand, Izumi worries, and then thanks her for getting mad on his behalf. Walking home, Koko pestering Izumi about a request, which Koichi also tries to convince him of, but Izumi keeps rejecting. Then Koko acts pitiful, questioning his love. As they can't push him, Koichi volunteers to do it, but she refuses right away. Izumi suggests they leave, but Kyoko doesn't want to, urging him to act aggressively again. Hanging outside the convenience store, the bullies encounter Koko outside a convenience store. They immediately shut up the other one, who doesn't know her, and claims they are just recycling buddies who pick up trash. Afterward, they saw Izumi slapping Koko and consider him a monster too. Izumi wants to comment on her kink, but she seems so satisfied that he decides to just hug her instead. Right after they get to Kyoko's home, Izumi confides in Kiski, who drags him to the bathroom and tells him his situation. He thinks that it's probably because it's the opposite of how he usually reacts, drinking beside the vending machine. Mizuguchi ignores them. Izumi thinks it's probably caused by his presence, as he also likes Koko. Then he discovers his phone is missing and gets back to the science lab. Mizuguchi, who's also there, helps him find his phone, only to find that it's just in his pocket. However, he breaks it after a few seconds, witnessing his clumsiness. He questions why Koko's with him. Azubi asks if he can punch Koko, to which he replies no. Bumping with Kyoko, he role-plays again and Mizuguchi witnesses it. On the other hand, Makio had a nightmare about Izumi and rabbits. After waking up, he asks for his number and contacts him, but he's not answering. He visits Izumi's shop, but unfortunately it's already closed. He promises to come again next time, and learns that he's not ignoring him, but his phone is broken. Later, Machiho's regrets about blaming Izumi for the rabbit's death are revealed while cleaning up. Izumi finds Kyoko's yearbook and she threatens him that he's dead if he peeks. Then, it shifts to Izumi's feeling about his own yearbooks. Though at times he wants to throw it away, he wants to cherish it. Now heading to school, Izumi and Kyoko bump into Makio, and the two guys greet each other awkwardly. With the weird atmosphere, she grabs Makio's collar and declares that Izumi's hers. He claims that they just got friendlier, and that he's not Koichi, triggering Koko. She demands to tell her everything, and he spills that Koichi's been staying over at Izumi's house. Then Koichi appears and escalates it more. To escape, Machiho drags him away. Then Koko makes him promise not to fall for any guy. He announces it to his friends and distances himself. He also declares he won't go to the bathroom, earning him good luck from them. Yuri is annoyed to come with her sister, shopping for art materials. Then, Akine greets them and explains she's with her sister. Remembering her, she introduces them to each other. Soon, it surprises her sister to learn that Yuki rejected Akine and gives her a look. Akane asks if Toru won't get mad, and she confirms that he won't. Since Akane's mice, the school, rumors about Toru and Yuki dating circulate. Sakura also hears it. Yuki confesses to Remi that she's not really dating Toru, lying to Sakura. After seeing her trembling lips, she ponders if what she's doing is alright, as they keep on pretending. Even after the rejecting incident, Remi tells her that it's okay, but she's anxious to end it between her and Toru, as she assumes that he's just being nice. After that, Yuki's been skipping school for days. Despite her sister's insistence, her sister lectures her that there's nothing embarrassing about wanting something, and criticizes her habit of keeping it in. Later, she opens her phone to see her inbox and sees Toru's message that Sakura confessed to him. The next day, she goes to school looking fine. Toru invites her to the rooftop. She assumes that they will end up pretending to be a couple. He asks her if she read his text. She then learns that Sakura didn't demand any response, and he doesn't feel the need to clear up the misunderstanding about their relationship. Relief, Yuki thinks that she's unfair for running away, as Sakura gathers the courage to express herself. Then their conversation shifts to the snow, and then it turns into something related to their situation. Yuki thinks he's too bold to tell those things without getting embarrassed, but she's happy. Toru holds her finger and then they go down. As usual, Yuki melts and freezes from his grasp when he comments how her hand is warm. On the other hand, Kakira thinks that Sekiro is happier, which Remi denies and claims that it's the opposite. In the council's room, Remi sees Toru and Yuki from afar. Then she rushes to get home, but Kakira stops her. She admits that she's rejected, even before she confesses, trying to cheer her up. He claims that whoever it is should be expelled. Afterwards, Sakura breaks down, bawling her eyes out. Takiro knows that it's about Toru, and that it hurts more, as no one's at fault. Talking about their siblings, it shocks them to discover that Shum has a younger sister. Contrary to his brother, she has a prickly personality. Meanwhile, in the council's room, they wonder why Akane speaks to them politely. Except for Yuri. Shu insists on being called by his first name, but Tori chops his head as he bothers Akane. Despite wanting to be friends with them, Akane admits that it's difficult to change his tone. Then Kijiro appears and Izumi and Toru drag him in, bragging about how they immediately become friends with the president. At first, Kijiro denies, but after reading about the situation, he plays along with them. Tuka thinks that guys are weird, so she excuses herself. Toru believes rock, paper, scissors can solve any problem, but Signika disagrees. Akane decides to call Toru by his first name, while Izumi considers adding Akane to his blacklist. Noticing Izumi's expression, Akane assures him that he won't steal him from him, confusing the other guys. When pressed by the others, Izumi becomes embarrassed and calls Akane stupid before running off. In the hallway, Izumi and Akane argue about who's taller and ask for Sakura's opinion. She lectures them and then Akane apologizes, but Izumi thinks it's unfair that he did it first. Yet he apologizes again. Azubi tests if Onup is fine with his friends, as she's uncomfortable around guys. She's fine with Kakihira and Toru, and learning about her list. They compete while bribing her. As Shu approaches, Azumi tries to signal him to shut up, but he fails to understand, loudly calling for Homioka. The next day, Shu keeps on coughing and hurting his throat, so he can't speak well. While sick, Shu helps Homioka, making her feel guilty for her past behavior. He then silently leaves, leaving her wondering if he's angry. Later, Sakura catches Hamanoka spying on Shu, and Anoka questions if Shu's upset with her. Sakura finds this unusual, as she has never seen Shu angry before. Shu, who's already fine, notices them and approaches Homoka. Back to his old loud self, Homoka calls him annoying before running off. Sakura informs him that his timing isn't right. At home, Shu's sister refuses dinner, after being mocked by her teacher for her school choice and grades. He adds that it is laughably bad that his sister tries punching him, but he catches her hand, then she cries out. After learning about this, Shu comforts her by pointing out her efforts and tells her to just do what she can. The next day, Shu asks Kyoko to tutor his sister. Kyoko welcomes Moto to her house, and they bump into Azumi and Soda, so she assumes that she has two brothers. Kokum notes how she looks like her brother, and she agrees as they are both quiet and brooding. Contrary to what Kokum knows of Shu, on their first day of tutoring, Kokum just wants her to relax. She also assumes that her brother hates him, but Kokum insists that they are close. On the other hand, Shu buys a lucky charm, as he also thinks that his sister hates him. Yuki learns that Toru is a rich kid. Kyoko also forgot to order a Christmas cake. Fortunately, Azumi noted it for her. As Christmas approaches, the Hores invite Azumi, but he's busy with their bakery. Comically, Kyoko's family is more regretful that he won't be with them. Toru confides with Shu and Kakiro about his love life. He asks for their opinion given his history. The two are surprised that they are still not dating. Kakiro advises him to focus on Yuki's feelings, earning him the title of Master Romancer. Yuki asks Toru to come over again, and he agrees but retracts before agreeing again. At his house, Toru sneakily takes Yuki to his room. Yuki assumes he doesn't want her to meet his parents, and wishes to be a hot guy. Confusing Toru, Yuri notices him locking the door, making her feel awkward, yet mocks it to ease her, and she clarifies that she's not scared, leading to blushing moments between them. Meanwhile, a voice from outside calls for Toru. Toru tries to keep Keiho from entering his room, but she blocks the door with her foot, and successfully enters, offering cake. Yuki learns Keiho isn't Toru's mom, but helps around the house. She's been curious about her, as it's Toru's first time bringing a girl over. Keiho returns with cake, warns Toru, and he assures her he won't do anything now that she's there. Yuki assumes he would if Keiho weren't present. Toru wonders why she seems uneasy again, and then rubs her hair. Then they proceed to play, and Keiho serves them cake from Azumi's shop. Kakiro avoids Remi's invitation due to her father's insect collection. At the semistrace end, Coco gets her usual as, and her mother reminds her of graduation. Next time, Soto shows his grades to Coco, but she's in deep thought, wondering what would happen after graduation. It's Christmas. Anoka buys cake. Akane encounters Yuki's sister and offers to buy contacts for her. Machiho's fighting with his brother. Toru's with Yuki. She's watching over his sister studying. Sakura convinces Kakira to go to Romei's house, and Kabushi promise to wait for each other. On the other hand, Kyoko's family pester her to bring Azumi. Azumi arrives delivering your cake. They are excited to keep him from leaving, and he stays there for an hour. Azumi bids him goodbye and Kyoko walks him out alone. They discuss graduation, and Kyoko expresses her desire to know more about him and be together after graduation, reminiscent of their first day. After a pause, Azumi proposes to get married. Kyoko doesn't answer, so he turns his back. But then she declares to make him happy. The shop then calls for Azumi. On New Year's Eve, Kyoko and Azumi go to the shrine. She knows how he'll be the last person she'll see for that year, and the first person she'll see for the next year. He wishes them to be like that for the next few years. Walking home holding hands, Kyoko asks if they'll always be together, to which Azumi replies with forever. The graduation's nearing, so they're clearing out their lockers. They all have stuff except Kyoko. Shu arrives in. Kyoko gives them a look. After discovering that, even Shu knows to bring his things home. Afterward they remember the DVDs they borrowed from him. After giving it back he now also has a stack. Yuki, who has the most things, struggles. Shu suggests for the guys to help out, but he includes Koko instead of Azumi. Feeling insulted she dumps everything to Shu. While cleaning, Remy gets distracted by a travel magazine and plans to visit a zoo. Keiji mentions needing a car for such trips, and Akane expresses excitement about getting his driving license. Sensing Rumi's mood change, Akane asks but she tries to escape. Caught by Keiji, Sakura threatens to pinch her until she confesses her worries. Remy admits that having a car means being able to move away, saddening her. Agony suggests a trip once he has a car and they agree. Sleeping, Kyoko calls for Azumi, and he offers his lap to be her pillow. He notices she's frowning, even in her sleep, and tries fixing it. That Assume thinks about what could have happened if he didn't get to help Sada. In his mind, a simulation of his high school life happens, where he's all alone at. Kyoko doesn't even know him. He gets back to reality after Kuko calls for her. He tells her his worries, and she assures him that it's fate that they're now together. It's graduation day. Kakira is about to start his speech but Azumi sneezes, and they all hold back their laughter, messing up his speech. After that Kakira chases Azumi at the rooftop. Azumi speaks to his past self. He acknowledges his presence, but his past self wants to disappear for him. Afterward a classmate opens the door, calling for him to take the class picture. Shin, their teacher, whose task to take their picture is only taking pictures with girls. Anoka cries that Kyoko's already graduating, so she permits her to visit from time to time. Toru bumps into Sakura, who's looking for Remy. With the awkward atmosphere, Sakura offers to shake hands and thanks him, because she had fun that year. Then they promise not to forget each other. Yuki overhears it, and thinks that Sakura plans to leave her feelings at school. Then she encounters Akane, who informs her about the plan to go for a trip. Yuki's relieved that they'll still be friends. Meanwhile Kesuke looks for his wonderful son, and his classmates assume that he's Azumi's father. Heiko, who had just arrived, screams after seeing him. He proceeds to take pictures with Azumi. She asks where his parents are, but they have already left. Moto, waiting for his brother at the gate, is shocked when he suddenly talks energetically. As they excuse themselves, Moto then confirms if he's really her brother. Azumi reflects on his relationship with Kyoko. With everything she did, he pondered what he could offer. Seeing the blue sky, he wishes to give it to her, but thinks that she'll prefer cake instead.